What's up YouTube, it's Euphoria here. Today we're going to look at mixing the low end of a track, mainly your kick and your bass. Probably the most important thing in dance music is the way your kick and your bass work together. This is going to make your kick sound quite fat and really predominant in your mix, which is very important, and it's something that not a lot of people do when they're starting out, and it's so important. All your leads and stuff should have the low end cut, whereas your bass line and your kick drum are at sometimes occupying relatively similar frequencies, so it can really clog up your mix, make it sound muddy, or, which happens a lot more often, your kick drum, you won't even be able to hear your kick drum at times. Okay, so I've just got the notes for 1 by Swedish House Mafia on a plucky bass line, not the same square bass that they used. And it sounds like this. I want you to pay close attention when the kick in this bass line, all the notes that are right where the kick will be. So that's there, 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 and there. Pay attention to the different sounding kick at those times. You're going to probably hear that the kick doesn't sound as punchy, whereas when it's playing by itself, you can hear it nice and predominantly. Let's have a listen. Okay, so this is pretty good bass line, pretty good kick drum. Why isn't it sounding as big and fat as it could be? Okay, so this is just one method. There's a million different methods that you can use, but the most important thing is EQ. So what we're going to do is, all this ghost kick and main lead stuff, this is just the template that I work with. It's just to get me started. We're only really going to be focusing on the kick channel, which is channel 2, and the main bass, which is channel 4. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I go to the kick drum, I put an EQ on it, I mute the bass, and I just look. You can see that our kick drum is really predominant below 136 Hertz here. So what I like to do is take in any EQ, this will work, just push it up about 5 or 6 decibels, kind of make the curve a little tighter, and then we're going to slide it up and down and find where the kick becomes more punchy. I'm going to start at the top and work our way down, and there will be a point where you hear it start getting a lot more punchy. Okay, around 88 Hertz is where it gets really punchy. And that's a pretty good frequency for a kick, to be honest. So now, without even listening to the bass line, we're going to go to our bass line channel, put an EQ on. We boosted the kick around 88 Hertz by about 5.7 decibels. Put that back on 87. So we take this to 87, make the curve about the same, take it to 87, and we decrease it by about the same. So what have we just done there? Well, what we've done is we've created some space for the kick drum in this frequency. Now, why didn't I listen to the bass line? Well, because the bass line shouldn't be predominant around 87 Hertz. This is where the kick drum is going to be predominant. Okay, when we play it back, you'll hear the kick drum is going to stand out kind of nicely. Now, this isn't the method, we're going to do more stuff, but just take a listen to what we got so far. Now you can hear when the kick is hitting at the same time as the bass line, you can hear the kick drum, but the bass line sort of falls away if you listen. So now, depending on how many effect slots that you have open, I like to EQ each thing individually. If you want to use the same EQ, you can, but for the demonstration purposes, I'm going to use different EQs here. So what we're going to do is you go into your bassline channel, you put your EQ that you're going to use, mute the kick, and you do the exact same thing, but this time you do it for the bassline. And that sounds really good at about 131 Hertz. So we've boosted that by 6 decibels. Okay, about 134. Now as you can hear, the kick drum is still sounding beefy, and the bass line is... Okay, so now that is sounding good. As far as the EQ goes, we're just not finished. What I like to do is, I like to just pull this down a little bit, everything from about 70 downwards. As I like the kick drum to mainly dominate this sound. You don't hear anything below 60 Hertz. So a lot of people say, what's the point in cutting the bass there? That is true, you don't hear anything below 60 Hertz, but the frequencies below 60 Hertz still affect the speaker. So it will affect your mix if you have too many frequencies below 60. So I like to sort of cut the bass line at 7. We know that our kick drum is dominant here, so it's not going to make our mix muddy. This is going to free up the kick a little bit, and once you add everything on top, you're still going to hear your kick very nicely. The last thing to do is to do some sidechain. Now, how I like to use my sidechain is having a ghost channel and a kick channel, and the ghost channel is going to cause the ducking, and the kick channel is just going to provide a kick. So I'm going to clone this. I've already got my ghost channel set up to effects channel 1. We're going to mirror the kicks, and I've already pre-set up the sidechain. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly switch it off. And quickly give you a demonstration in case you don't know how to do sidechain. Okay, so what I did there is I opened Fruity Peak Controller, and as soon as you open Fruity Peak Controller, you hear your kick is now quiet. If you don't want to create 2 separate channels, then you click this unmute button, and your kick will come back. But as I said, I like to keep that channel muted and have the sound coming from this. And then, so this is pretty much just controlling the peaks. So what you want to do is, the effects channel that you want sidechained, you click on it, you right click on it, because you want to sidechain this volume here. You right click on that, you say link to controller, you choose peak controller for my Ghost Kick channel, and when you click on play, you'll notice that the volume is working as we want, but it's working the opposite way that we want. Every time there's a kick, the volume increases, or we want it the other way. So what you want to do is you right click on the channel, link to controller as we did before, and you invert it. Now what's going to happen, it's going to duck every single time there's a kick drum. I'm clicking on the kick. So when we play it, but now we have another problem. When we move our slider back down, it keeps returning to the top. Well, how you change that is you open your 3D peak controller up again, and this bass knob is going to decide where it starts. You want to set that on 20%. Now another couple of things that'll work quite well is you want your bass line to duck quite a bit, not too much, but you want it to get back up quickly. So you want to decrease its decay speed. Now your decay speed is going to set the time, once it's ducked, how quickly it returns back to full. So let's fiddle around with that. It's better to see while you're adjusting it how it works. We're going to increase the decay time. The more you increase it, the quicker it returns. When you decrease it, it's going to stay there for longer. So you want to make that pretty quick. Well, that's what I like to do anyway. And set the volume. Volume is just pretty much how much it peaks. So when you increase that, it's going to drop all the way to the bottom. When you decrease that, it's going to, when you go negative, it's actually going to boost the sound instead of decreasing it. Okay, so that is pretty much it. Those are my tips for mixing your kick and your bass line. This will make it nice and punchy, and your kick is still clearly audible while the bass line is going. And you can add anything on top of that as well, but whenever you're EQing your high-end stuff, you need to make sure that it's cut around 200. It's better to just listen to it, but you'll be able to see. So that way it's not going to interfere at all with your low end, and your low end can be purely for your kick and your bass, which is the best way to do it. So yeah, that's about it. If you guys have any questions, I'm just trying to think if I've missed anything out. Don't think I have. If you guys have any questions, leave a message in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you. Just one last time, just trying to think if I've missed anything out. Don't think I have. So like and subscribe and all that fun stuff, and I'll see you soon for another video.